Hi there, traders. Now, one of the key things that you can do over the weekend is really fine tune your technical analysis. Get yourself prepared for the upcoming week. Okay. Now, the best thing about doing it on the weekend is there's no distractions, there's no noise, the currencies aren't moving, and you can really sort of isolate the good setups because you're not thinking of anything else. Now, first of all, what I would sort of encourage you to do is look at the daily charts. Just check out the trends, right? Keep a trade journal on your desk, and then you can sort of keep track of where things are. Now, for me, euro is breaking down. That's a key significant factor. Now, there's a few mismatches in this, right? And this is where you can find them when there are no distractions. Now, dollar Swiss is also sort of breaking down. So there's a mismatch here between dollar Swiss going down and euro going down, right? Now, usually if euro is going down, dollar Swiss is going up, and vice versa. So that's something to think about as you go into the week. So looking at the key ingredients here, euro is the sort of odd one out. It's at the bottom end of the range. Sterling poked above 128, the figure, okay, after those US CPI numbers, but drifted back into the range, as did the Aussie and the Kiwi, sort of on the top end of the range there as well, right? So dollar Swiss, it's worth investigating and keeping an eye on during the week because something's got to correct there. Either the Swiss or the euro will correct, and identifying which one and hitting it at the right time is key to making sort of decent profits. Now, the dollar index, well, euro is 58% of the basket. It's at the top end of the range. So that sort of makes sense. What happens on the dollar index obviously lines up with the euro, but once again, the Swiss does stand out. Now, dollar yen, long term, it's still just going higher. Like the interest rate play there, okay, it is a thing, right? Low interest rates in Japan, higher interest rates or potential higher interest rates for a longer period of time in the US. You get the carry trade in play there, and dollar CAD, well, it's still cruising to the top side. Okay, slight correction there on the low, but all things being equal, it's slowly making its way higher. Now, also, oil has been rallying. So that's a little bit of a mismatch there as well. I'll be circling dollar CAD and sort of making sure I keep an eye on that as we go through the course of the week. Now, when you bring it back into the hourly perspective, right, you sort of get a bit of a clearer feel for what's going on. If you look at the euro, sterling, Aussie, and Kiwi, the charts are almost identical. Now, that gives me a lot of comfort and a lot of confidence going into trading these pairs. Now, whether there's a mismatch on the US numbers and where the US dollar is, that's something else to consider. But at the moment, these instruments are trading identical, okay? And that is a really good setup going into the start of next week. Still, dollar Swiss trading to the downside. I've got to work out what's going on here because this could be one of the big trades, either dollar Swiss or euro. To me, it's a Swiss situation. Dollar yen trading sideways, and you know what? Dollar CAD still hanging in there sideways, but as you can see on this y-axis, the oil has been rallying. It's like 9 times out of 10, the CAD will follow that, right? So I would expect dollar CAD to potentially go down, and that's once again why I would have that signaled. Now, that's one thing. So you get your charts up and you can sort of see what's happening short term and long term. The next component is really coming back to your calendar and sort of prepare the week. Just have a glance through. There's no need to do any sort of long-term detailed analysis. Just have a look what's happening on what days and try and plan your schedule, okay, the upcoming week ahead. If you've got work commitments, family commitments, well, go through the schedule on the weekend and try and adjust things to capture the key moves that relate to where you are, what time zone you're in. Now, Monday, we have a bunch of Chinese numbers, very important for the Australasian traders, Aussie dollar and the Kiwi dollar in particular. Coming into Tuesday, we've got the RBA interest rate meeting. Okay, no change expected, so no surprises there, but well worth having a look at. We've also got the ZEW numbers out of Europe. And importantly, our first US dollars for the week on Tuesday, retail sales figures and industrial production numbers out of the US. Now, to me, this is a great opportunity because there's a second tier numbers that don't behave violently in the market when they're released, like the non-farm payrolls and sometimes like the CPI numbers. But they are a good indication of what's going on in the dollar. And you know what? If the dollar is sort of in the wrong place, and I'm suggesting like the dollar shouldn't be as high as it is at the end of the last week, well, these numbers can sort of really sort things out. Now, just be aware as we go through Tuesday, okay, the back end of Tuesday in the North American session, we do have a bunch of Fed speakers. Now, it's going to be interesting to see or hear what they have to say about the current forward guidance from the Fed. Now, you come into Wednesday, and it's the first sort of big numbers out of the UK, right? And Wednesday pretty much belongs to the sterling and sterling crosses because there's nothing else really coming out. But on Thursday, we do have the Bank of England interest rate decision. Once again, no change of rates expected, but well worth looking in. Any time the central bank is talking, it's big news. Now, earlier on Thursday, we do have the Kiwi GDP numbers, and you get the ECB General Council meeting, bits and pieces. And if I just take that colouring off, the Swiss National Bank interest rate decision. These guys have been building up to something. And this is why I think dollar Swiss is lower. The Swiss National Bank, I think they've been playing tricks on the currencies. So expect a surprise there on Thursday from the Swiss. That's something that you usually wouldn't be, really drilling into too much. But I just smell a rat here, and I think it's a great opportunity going forward, right? Also Thursday, building permits, that's a third tier number at best. I don't know why trading economics have got a high impacting number. You get the housing numbers and those initial jobless claims and the Philly Fed manufacturing index, right? Another group of US second, third tier numbers that hopefully reveal a bit more about what's going on in the US, right? Don't forget, US CPI numbers were slightly weaker. I know the Fed say they were on hold, but a buildup of negative numbers here could really see a big shift in the market. Now, you come into Friday, okay, the last stop saloon for most traders. Now, the traders who are trying to trade on Friday aggressively are those traders that have lost money during the week. And I can tell you, the outcome is not usually that good. So following, and this is where you got to connect the dots, following Wednesday's UK inflation numbers, Thursday's Bank of England interest rate decision, and then we have it followed up with the retail sales. This could be the best time for a UK number to come out straight after the central bank meeting. They tell us exactly what they're looking for and what they're going to do. And then we have a big number straight after it. So that's, to me, a pretty good opportunity to really tap into the market, potentially take some cash out with relatively low risk. Then as we go through the Friday, we've got some PMI numbers out of Europe, manufacturing services data out of the UK, and then you've got the Canadian retail sales figures there as well, and then some S&P numbers out of the US. So, you know what? There's a fair bit on the table. Really kicks off sort of Wednesday onwards, but make sure you keep an eye on those US retail sales figures. This is to me, the real start of the week and something where you need to be tuning into. So what that enables you to do, it plans out your week. So you're thinking, okay, Tuesday. So you've got a bit of time here to let the markets open up after the weekend, see what's going on across the board on the hourly charts, see what the longer term trends are doing, and then come back and isolate where momentum and direction may come from. And it's from the data, right? So those US retail sales figures, these are the numbers here that we want to be keeping a close eye on, as well as those industrial production numbers. That is the start of the week. It'll give us US dollar direction. And then you've got should have the confidence to start trading aggressively from there. All right, guys, just a little bit of homework over the weekend. Once again, when the markets are shut, there's nothing to think about. And quite often, doing your analysis can be a lot quicker, a lot easier, because you're not overthinking it. All right, have a good weekend. All the best. Cheerio.